Welcome back to Wisdom Rising. I am your host, Christine Renee. And before we get into today's guest interview with Peter Petersen, who is an amazing Qigong instructor, as well as meditation teacher and dance instructor, and we get really into embodiment and presence and so much. It's such a good conversation, so stick around. And before we dive into the interview, I have a few quick announcements to make. We have so many cool things coming up. I want to make sure they're on your radar. Next week, in 1 week, we have a Creating a Sacred Sex Life Connection Through Presence, a free live webinar. That's Monday, August 10th from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So this is going to be a live webinar to help you really understand the secret to connecting better sexually. Has less to do with about techniques and more to do with presence with yourself, your partner, and the connection between you. And so be sure to put that on your radar. In the show notes, you'll have the link to register. Next up, we have 1 week following, we have Jim and I will be teaching our 5-week Intro to Tantra Masterclass, where this is about awakening to an ecstatic life. I really love this because each week we come together for not only a really deep dive check-in, but we do somatic practices each week. And so this is about discovering how to create sacred space. We're going to move that energy flow through us through the 3 keys of Tantra, being breath, movement, and sound. And then the last week, we're going to dive in even deeper to creating that sacred sex life. So want to invite you into checking out that link for the Intro to Tantra Masterclass. We've already taught this 2 previous times, and 2 of those couples took it both times because they enjoyed it so much. Know that you can come as a solo, as a couple, as curious. All is welcome. Just know that we are going to be respecting boundaries and honoring those boundaries. But this is a really great 5-week masterclass, whether you're doing it for yourself or for date night. Love that one. And then in September, from September 18th through the 20th, we have got Austin's Embodiment Festival. That is what this interview with Peter is on. He is hosting this Embodiment Festival, and I'm going to be there as a vendor. I'm going to be dancing with you, moving with you as well. And so know that this is a space of dance, embodiment, connection, nervous system care, expression, intimacy, movement, play, music, authenticity, and community, where it's all happening under one roof for the 3-day weekend. So be sure to check that out. I wanted to get Peter on in early so that you would have time to plan if you wanted to make travel arrangements to Austin. That is what I am doing now. It's on my to-do list to book my tickets now. I'd love to see you there. I'm envisioning my booth, my vendor booth at the back of the room as kind of like an integration station, so I can be offering Reiki, offering integration tools, offering some breath work to ground. And so know that I'm going to be there for that. And this is all kind of leading into what I'm most excited about is our 4-day, 3-night training, Intro to Sacred Tantra, where spirit and the body meet. This is going to be facilitated with Jim, my partner, as well as Wilder Akasha. And this is going to be taking place in Austin as well from January 15th to Monday, January 18th. So this is MLK weekend. I'm letting people know right now that enrollment is open. Be sure to check it out if you want a space where you can really dive in deep to your own personhood, your own sovereignty, your own agency, and really understand how can I reclaim my natural birthright as blissful. Be sure to check that out as well. And I will be there as one of the assistant facilitators. So be sure to check out all these links in the show notes. Let me know if you have questions. And now it is time. Let's dive into this interview with Peter Petersen. Welcome back to Wisdom Rising. I'm your host, Christine Renee, and today we've got a special guest with us. Peter Petersen is joining in, and I'm really excited to have him on. We recently got to know each other through the Embodiment Festival that's coming up in Austin in September, and the more I learn about Peter, the more I was excited about doing this podcast, because not only has he been a Qigong practitioner and instructor for the last 24 years, but he's been weaving in dance into his sessions since 2011. And he's had a huge breadth of of areas in which he's worked in, whether that's health clubs, hospitals, retirement communities, wellness resorts, Tantra festivals all over the world. And I can just really feel into his excitement for not just being the meditative instructive, the Qigong instructor, the dance instructor, but also for his excitement around dance, breathwork, music, and really becoming fully embodied in the experience that with whoever he's with. And so I feel like that's right in alignment for where I am in my life and so many of our listeners, that I'm really excited to have him on so that we can all bring in and breathe in the medicine that he offers as a doorway to greater freedom, connection, and joy. So welcome to the show, Peter. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. I love to talk about my passions and joy, which is movement, meditation, and music. And yeah, so let's get into it. I'm excited to see where this conversation goes.
Absolutely. And I think what I want to kind of hone in on, just to kind of get some of your history and how you came into the embodiment world, is that you started out in a very deep energetic movement practice. Can you tell us a little bit about your Qigong background and what kind of led you into more of the dance and embodiment work?
Yeah, absolutely. It started one very hot day in Northern California. It was like July 2001. And I would happen to be visiting my mother, and she was like, "Hey, they're doing this Qigong workshop in up in Nevada City. Would you like to go check it out?" And I was like, "What? What is Qigong?" I had like zero context. And she's like, "Oh, it's like martial arts meets the hula, and it's like very dancey, but also very flowy with like some martial art tendencies or aspects." And I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's go check this out. I was dabbling in yoga, I was dabbling in meditation, and just kind of being curious with the smorgasbord of different practices that were out there. And so we go to this like weekend training, and we walk in the door, and people are just moving. I'm seeing these people moving. I'm like, oh, this looks intriguing. Like, what is this? And I just watch someone, and I start emulating the moves, and we do this move for 45 minutes straight. Like, we don't stop. The teacher's just like, keep going, keep going. We're not, and it's literally, we're just doing one move. And the move is bringing the hand up to the heart, and then the hand goes down to your root, and then you bring the hand again. So it's like you're creating this circuit. Like, you're pulling energy up, you're putting it in your heart, you're pushing it down into your root, you're releasing it and bringing it back up. And you're just continuing to do this. And I got into this trance-like state. And someone came over to me like about 10-15 minutes in, and was like, "Wow, Peter, you're really good at this. Like, how long have you been doing this?" And I was like, 5 minutes. I was pretty astounded at how easily I got into the flow of it, and how easily my mind just turned off. Like, the whole world just went into the background, and my internal world just lit up like a Christmas tree. And I just felt like, okay, I'm really present, but I'm also really relaxed. I'm like, wow, I'm really enjoying this feeling of being relaxed but present at the same time. So we do this. So we just keep going, we keep going, we keep going until like I'm like in orbit somewhere. I'm like, it's in some other world. And then he's like, "Okay, take a break, get some water, like go to the bathroom, like, let's take care of yourself." And I stop, and my hands are just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I'm like, whoa, like, what is this? I was just like I was in a little bit of a shock, but I was also just feeling very electric. I don't know. There's not really a word to ascertain the feeling other than maybe kind of like ecstasy. Like,
Yes.
and I kind of felt like I was on ecstasy. Like, it was that much joy, but it wasn't to the point of where I had to expend it.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
you take a compound like coffee or something that kind of like energizes you and pushes you. You feel like you have to have this outlet. Where with this, it was like, I'm in my body and I'm ecstatic.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I proceed to walk out the door because we're in this like old like 1850s like Catholic church with just hardwood floors, and everything's been cleared out, so we have this huge open space. And I walk over to the front doors. I open up these two double doors. I look out and I see the world for the first time, where I'm
Mm.
just like, whoa, sun's coming through the clouds like this. I can see the rays. I see the shifting of the wind in like the brush. I see like little animals moving. Like I'm not just sensing energy, I'm feeling energy. And I feel like there's a kundalini. I didn't know at the time what the heck it was, but
Yes.
I had this like kundalini rising up in me. And before, when I would see people kind of like do those gyrations and things, I'm like, get the F out of here. Like, I'm like, what is this? And in that moment, I was like, oh, that is what's happening here. And then I had another light bulb. I was like, oh, this is what Luke Skywalker discovered when Obi-Wan showed him the Force,
Yeah.
or Yoda. Like,
Yes.
this energy is not just something that moves through wires, or and lights up appliances. Like, it is in everything. It is a
Yeah.
ubiquitous field that it is everything. And I was like, I am a part of that energy field, and and when I turn myself on in this way, I can feel the energy and use it in a way that makes me feel good. And that was my moment. I was like, okay, I want to do this all the time, and I need to learn this, and I want to start doing this every single day, because it's like, I want my whole life to feel this ecstatic. Like,
Yes.
why live in this state of past future, past future, past future? And why am I always combating my mind, trying to take the reins of my body back from my mind, when I can just be here in my body right now without having to fight? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it totally does because I can resonate with it for sure.
That was my experience, and that's what catalyzed my whole, like, I want to start doing this for a living. That was it. And that was 2001.
That's fantastic. I love that story so much. And I have so many people on the show where they come to their awakening, they come to their aliveness, they come to this thing through trauma, through stress, through hardship. And that's not what I'm hearing here. It's from this place of curiosity. And I'm like, and I think this is when I tell people, I'm like, there's never too late to start to get curious and to explore. Like, try the breath work, try the energy movement modality that is presented to you, and trust the universe is bringing you the next right thing for you to say yes and to move through it, to be in flow with it. And I love that there's key words that really stood out to me. It was like, I'm present with not only the energy within myself, but the energy of like all of nature became more alive for you.
Yeah. So let me respond to one part of what you said, which is, I don't know if I would have taken this teaching or this energy in if it didn't happen at that moment, or maybe at a later date. But if I had discovered this like a year or so earlier, I don't know if it was or would have resonated with me as deeply. Like, in that moment, I was really open to something new coming in. And I feel like it's that old adage of like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And my teacher, he's just like out of thin air, whoosh, here he is, and he happens to be one of the best Qigong teachers on the planet. And he had taught martial art people in China for many years. He took them to like many gold medals. And so I was just super fortunate to walk in a room one day to be in the midst of one of the most amazing teachers, who was not only super humble, but super talented at articulating what the feeling is of the movements. Does,
Mhm.
does, does that resonate at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like that is so often the case of when you are ready. And it really is this, I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for the next processing of my personal development, my spiritual development, my business development, like the teacher does arrive, and the more open and ready you are, it's like profound teachers just come out of the woodwork, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a combination. The teacher is not just this bright, shiny object, but the teacher has some sort of relatability
mhm,
that you see in yourself, and you go, "Oh yes, I believe whatever this person is saying to be the truth, and I trust it, and I want to follow it." And it's funny in my career, I've had people either say like, "Well, what is qigong?" Like they're just like super perplexed on even just what it is, or they're like, "Oh, qigong, yeah, that's great." And it's mainly because the teacher is not very exciting. they're they teach in a way that it's very slow, it's not very compelling.
mhm.
And I've had so many people come up to me after a class or a session and go, that was the best I've ever, I've had other things, but that was the best Qigong class I've ever had. I never have experienced it in the way that you proceeded to teach it. And I'm curious to explore it more now.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way street. Like the teacher's got to be compelling, but you also have to be ready. And
Yes.
when those two things align, that's the perfect synergy of finding your teacher.
I mean, I've been teaching Reiki for well over 15 years at this point, and one of the first things when people ask me what is Reiki, I go, well, it's one of those key things. There's Tai Chi, Qigong, Reiki, Qi and Qi, same thing. Like, so it's very interesting of like when we can come down to the nuts and bolts of it, like it's energy. How are we moving the energy? And there's so many different ways to move energy. And I feel like in my life, that focusing in on moving energy has led me more and more into dance, more and more into embodiment work, more and more into how can I recognize where is the energy stuck within me, and how am I allowing and inviting more of a flow. And so I can see that in your own experience. You're nodding your head right now, like, yeah, this is like noticing even in the Qigong, the practices, I am bringing in the flow. I'm moving the energy within me. We're releasing down in the earth and we're pulling up this energy from within. And so it's amazing when people are practicing embodiment work of so many different kinds. There's so many different avenues to that embraces embodiment, and how we are recognizing and noticing what's happening within us.
Yeah, I agree. It For me, the crux of this practice, like why I love it, is how much presence is created inside of my body, and how my microcosm and my body is connected to the macrocosm out there. It helps create a channel so that energy is flowing freely and it's not getting stuck right here, where a lot of times it gets stuck. It also can get stuck in the throat. It can get stuck in the heart. Like it can get stuck in any of the chakras. Um, but when your body is moving in a very loose and fluid fashion, the energy centers in your hands and your feet and the top of your head all begin to open. So energy just starts flooding into your body. And so that fresh energy that comes in naturally displaces the old stuck energy that's been inside of you. And so you're creating this catalyst of recycling energy. And from that recycling energy, I feel like you're most relaxed. And my teacher likes to call it the natural state, the state that we were born into before the mind displaced us into the past or the future. And really, from this state is the state you can accomplish anything. And my teacher has like so many stories about how he'd have people like always trying to get him to do things, and he's like, hey, like when it's time for me to do it, I'll do it. Like I'm not going to exert myself past exhaustion to take care of something. Like when I get to that bridge, I will cross it, and I will attend that challenge or difficulty in that moment. I'm not going to try and attend to it in some metaphysical future, because honestly, that is how we kill ourselves. Is that
Mhm.
if we're not here, our body is in stress mode. It's stressed about trying to figure something out. But when you're not stressed about figuring something out and you trust your body and you trust your intuition that you can figure it out in the moment, I feel like that's when life changes and you start to be in a flow.
Yeah, it's really comes down to that being in the now. And there's so many things in our culture and our society and the institutionalized systems that tell us not to be there, to like stress out about the future, be concerned about the past. And it's interesting. It's like, how much time do we really need in focusing on our past traumas, childhood wounds, all of these things? Because you're still bringing your attention to them, right? And so it's very interesting for in my work. Oftentimes I'm helping helping my students, helping my clients, like really go, we're going to spend some time here, but we're not going to spend a lot of time here. And how can we release and let this go so that we can then have this recognition of, I'm okay to desire what it is I desire. What do I want for my future? So often they can't even see what's in the realm of possibility, but it's all to get them into the now, right? And there's so much of like that, we're using the mind to do this mindset work, but it ultimately, it's almost a distraction from them being in the flow of the energy. And how can we invite them into the flow of the energy? Because that's all that really actually matters. Is how do we quiet the mind so that they can recognize, I feel what I feel, I know what I know, and I can trust the process. I can trust the energy of what's leading me to the next thing in relationship to myself and to others.
I feel like it's befriending the mind,
Mhm.
befriending the ego. So many, there's like these adages of like, kill your ego, like,
Yeah.
get rid of the mind. Like it's just causing problems. Like, no, no, no. It's actually your best friend. It's
Mm.
actually the first mate. It's not the captain, but you see, we use it so much, it starts thinking it's the captain. And it
Yes.
starts running these old programs that we've picked up from our past, where it just starts running them automatically. And it's like, no, 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 no. I don't need to do these old behaviors that no longer serve me. And once you figure out what those behaviors are, be like, okay, I'm gonna slowly move away from those old behaviors and try something new. And that's exactly what Qigong, yoga, Reiki, Tantra, all these different practices basically bring you into the now. They bring what's unconscious into consciousness and then allows you to decide what's really important. Like
Yeah.
that's why I feel like Tantra and yoga and Qigong, they've all been around for thousands. Let me say this again, thousands of years.
Mhm.
There's a reason why it's been passed down for so many generations, because it's such a useful tool for your own agency. And you get to be the captain of your own ship, and you get to go after the vivaciousness of what it's like to be alive, instead of like running on someone else's program of what you think you should be doing. And I'm sorry, but that's a lot of people growing up. It's like, well, my dad was an accountant, so I'm going to be an accountant. Or like, someone in my family is in the military, I got to be in the military. And it's like, no, you're your own person. Like, what's really alive right here, and export that joy out into the world, and then you get to do whatever you want. That's my philosophy, and that's why I love to do what I do.
Right. And I think there's that piece of the philosophy is that we're innately wired for bliss. We're innately wired to live an ecstatic life, that we're innately whole with all that we are, whether that is the mind body relationship, the mind body spirit relationship. Like, how can we accept all of who we are and not be continuously shaming ourselves or accepting shame from others? That is the inhibitor of joy, of creative compassion, ecstatic life, right? And so
Yeah.
it's like, when we can start to recognize, I really am in my own agency, I really am in my own sovereignty state, and I can choose what I participate in. I can choose how I use my thoughts, and I can feel what I feel, and I can notice what I notice, and I can live from this place of fullness, a full acceptance of
there's not actually anything wrong with it.
And I think that's a transition oftentimes I see a lot where people are at, because there's so many modalities that, especially in the health and wellness industry, and I know you want to talk about that a little bit too, of going, we're broken and we need to be fixed. Right? There's
we're not broken. We've been given some information that we feel like is the gospel. And it's like this Samsonite baggage we carry around, and a lot of us don't even know we're carrying it, because they're these old behavior programs. I have a good friend who I teach with. He calls it BS, belief systems.
Yeah.
It can also be the other BS as well. But those belief systems is what's holding you back from creating the best version of yourself right now. And so I just feel like once you ascertain that, I feel like that's a huge moment in a person's life, where you're not doing what you do to people please. You're not doing what you do for somebody else, for a teacher, a lover, a family member. Like you honestly are doing this thing for yourself. That is one of the hugest moments in our human evolution. And that's why I do what I do. It helps you bridge that gap, is what I feel like it does.
Okay, so I'd love to hear your favorite tips of bridging the gap. What does that look like for you?
I feel like it's creating like a wellness checklist that not only gets you present, it gets you relaxed, but it nourishes you of the food that you want. But then it also dials into the creativity that you want to export out into the world. And for me, I was very lucky. I found it early. It was music and movement and sports. I love playing sports. I love moving my body to music. And I love the camaraderie of being other people for like a certain goal, kind of like playing hockey or volleyball. But then I also love going to see live music and watching the musicians kind of like look at each other of like, okay, your turn, my turn. Like the collaboration up on stage of them working together to create this magnificent sound. And you were a part of it, because the energy was coming inside of you and you were giving that energy back in your dancing and yelling and screaming. So I feel like that is the special sauce of really being alive, is finding out what your creativity desires and wants to go for. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I love that description of being in a live music event, because it feels so energetic. You can feel the energy between the musicians, and I can feel the energy between me and the musicians. Like it's an energetic exchange. Like I'm pouring out my gratitude to them for their art form, and they're providing it. And so everything feels so enhanced when it becomes this energetic awareness of, we're all playing together and everyone is dancing and celebrating and screaming and shouting and being excited because of the way the music is landing for people, right? And so it's so much fun. And in my community, where I'm in a smaller town, I'm in Bozeman, Montana, and we recently had a DJ put on like a sober music event, and it was great. I just have so much fun at these events, and they're fairly rare because I'm in a small town. Now I know in California or in Austin, like they've got so much going on, but the beauty of when it lands in my tiny town, it's like everyone appreciates it so much more, right? Like we all show up, we're all excited to be there, and it feels like a bit of a reunion of like, all right, we've got this thing happening and we can all go dance and move and just be. And I love that. And I love that more and more there are these sober events that are happening, right? I think that there's so much to be said about, psychedelics and plant medicine and all of these things. And when you come in intentionally to a music event, to a Embodiment Festival, for example, or any of these things where it's like, no, we're here to do an ecstatic dance. We're here to do Qigong. We're here to do meditation. We're here to fill in the blank. And we know that everyone is in their most, I feel like almost when I say their most real self, like there's not an enhancer going on. And like, if you can allow yourself to feel the fullness of who you are in those moments, it can be so incredibly powerful. The connection of knowing like, this isn't being brought on by alcohol or being brought on by a substance.
Yeah.
We're actually here in this moment, whether that's an eye gazing exercise or whether that's a movement practice or whatever it may be. And it feels that not only like I'm alive in my body, but I'm able to connect in your energy authentically as well. And
Yeah.
how much beauty can coexist in those spaces is just phenomenal.
Yeah, agreed. I have to say I'm addicted to those spaces. They're so intoxicating, where you get a group of like-minded souls who really love music and they really love movement and they love moving together.
Yes.
It's all three of those things, because I have some friends who really like movement, but like, oh, I don't like large spaces. And I'm not talking about Tomorrowland or Burning Man. I'm talking about like, 100 people. I'm like, no, that's still too busy. That's still too much. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But there are groups of people who love to congregate with other like-minded people who are like, yeah, let's move together and let's be creative in the spontaneity of what lays in wait to be activated. And for me, there's almost no other place on the planet that I would rather be, which is where music and movement come together to synergize a creative expression. And from that expression, I feel like I talk to God or source or universe or whatever word you want to call it. I'm in such a flow that the universe is downloading me information when I'm in that state. And it's like the universe is like, hey, do this. And I'll be dancing and moving like, wow, that's a great idea. Like I need to go write that down, because you're so open energetically and you're so relaxed. It's like the universe can just talk to you like God sitting right next to your shoulder. So yeah, that's why I'm so intoxicated with festivals.
I love it. And I have a confession to make, Peter. I am one of those people who are really intimidated by the 100+ event, like 100 people plus event. And I'm like, but I like my little circle of 10. Like, I'm good. I'm really comfortable right here. And I had to say, like, when I pulled up your event for the Embodiment Festival that's happening in September, I was like, I love all of these activities. Your lineup of events, I'm like, okay, I can do an ecstatic dance, and the biggest one in our town would be maybe 25 people, 30 people, right?
Wow.
Because we're in a tiny town.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm like, I'm over here going, can I handle this? Like, can I put myself in a situation where I'm going to be possibly feeling into everyone's energy and know that there's such a beautiful intention behind everything that you're pulling together.
Yeah.
And because the intention is so foundational and strong, that it feels like, even just reading the festival, it feels like, no, it feels safe. Like I already feel that there's going to be breath in this. There's going to be spaces of integration. There's going to be spaces of there's freedom in recognizing what your capacity is, and it's okay if you need to step out for a moment or whatever it may be. And so I just am putting out there for all of the listeners who are like, I don't know if I can handle being in a room with 100 people dancing.
Well, let me give you some context. The room, it's a fairly large room. It can hold 300 people comfortably. So there's going to be space. And there's like a little lounge area with a couch. There's other little kind of nooks and crannies where you can kind of go off to the side and have your own space. So it's not like a tiny bar where we're going to be,
Pushed
like,
together.
we've got a lot of room to move, and it'll be fun. And what I really appreciate is it's not just kind of like rah, 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 dance, dance, dance the whole time. Like we have dance, but we'll have acro yoga. We also have like contact improv dance. We have Latin fusion dance. Like we have a smorgasbord of many different styles of movement that is not just all vertically going crazy. Like there's an ebb and flow to the schedule so that one thing can be kind of exciting and ecstatic, and the other thing will be gentle and relaxing. So, yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, and I felt that. Like I really did feel like there's enough variety here of really high energy things and more mellow drop-in things that had the balance. Like if it really was 3 days of ecstatic dance, I don't think anyone could handle going that hard that long, right?
No.
And so I would love to hear, like, if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and share, the details. Know that our listeners will have all the links in the show notes.
Sure.
I would love to hear what you're crafting. Like, I know this is just a few months out.
Yeah, it's September 18 to 20, and it's at the Austin Ecstatic Dance Center, which is South Austin. And it is basically a culmination of some of my really good friends and there's a few people that I don't know, but what I've been told is that they're the best DJs in Austin. Like
Nice.
the five rhythms teacher, I've heard from multiple sources like, oh, you got to go get that guy. That guy is amazing. And I was kind of crossing my fingers, like, I hope he says yes. I get on the phone with him. He's like, yeah, sure. My friend told me you guys are great, and I want to do this. And I was like, oh, that was easy. so I think when you really put forth the intention of curating something that feels really aligned with your soul and your heart, I feel like the universe is like, oh, here you go. Like it just naturally puts things into place so that you're not trying to do it. It just flows. And I feel very fortunate that the teachers that came together were just in a flow where we're just like, yeah, this sounds exciting. I want to do it. And all of them, I'm telling you, are like top notch. Like they're really good. They're not the type of DJs that just like have one slow song and then, it's like, hey, there's a buildup. There's like, it's like a really good dance set is like building a fire where it's like you start out with the kindling and it starts slow and then it builds up steam and then it gets real hot and fiery and chaotic, but then it eventually it goes back down and there's like a denouement and then a stillness and like a shavasana sort of state. So I'm excited to showcase something that's a little bit different than what's out there, because I'll see clips of Tomorrowland. I'll see clips of Burning Man. I'll see clips of these like giant festivals. And I listen to the music and I'm like, nah,
it's not quite it.
It's just so electronic. And it's like, I've told all my DJs and I said, this is a prerequisite. Like I need organic musical instruments involved. And it doesn't have to be all organic. And I want electronic music, of course, but I can't just be like an hour and a half of dubstep or, like, whoa, it's like, no, I need to hear rhythms. I need to hear bass lines. I need to hear soloing instruments that are communicating with one another and working in synergy with one another. And to me, that's what guides my body the most into its creative state. If it's just droning music and it's just like, it's like, I can't do anything to this.
Yeah.
I can do it for a little while and I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. I need some more creativity to be instilled into this music if it's going to really have me move my body. And fortunately, these DJs understand that aspect and they're going to be bringing it to the table in Austin, September 18 to 20.
I love it. Who else do you have coming? What other kind of modalities are going to be there?
I mean, I should have made a list of head.
I know you have some Qigong. I know you have.
I'll be doing Qigong and dance. Have you heard of Latihan?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you mean by that because I know what Latihan is, like as a personal experience, I know what
Okay.
Latihan is, but what is it as a presentation? Like, I'm not sure what exactly that's going to include.
So this is one of my favorite moving modalities because what you do is you put a blindfold on.
Mhm.
So your sight is completely taken away. And soft music is playing in the background. And the motif is to move with the music in the moment.
Mhm.
So there's no preset movements in place. It's
Yeah.
not like a bunch of jazz hands and high elbows. Obviously, high elbows are not recommended for safety reasons, like because everybody's blindfolded. You're moving around with your hands kind of out like this, and
Okay.
your hands are sonar. And then if you come in contact with another person, you have a choice point to be like, hey, I want to explore. This feels interesting. I want to explore this touch. Or if you want to be in your own journey, you just gently push the person's hand away
Mhm.
and you go on your own journey. So for me, it is all about stepping into the unknown,
Mhm.
trusting your intuition that you're moving in the right direction. It's like going to the gym and building up the muscle of your intuition so that you start really trusting your movements without second guessing yourself too much. Does that,
Yeah.
so you understand what I'm saying? So and then there's also an agency piece about your pleasure and your body. Like, hey, if this feels good, I'm going to explore it. If this feels kind of weird or creepy or you're scratching me, then I'm going to push you away or I'm going to remove your hand. Like, so you have agency. It's teaching you that you have agency over your body at any time and no one's going to come save you. And if you need help, you take care of yourself. Okay. Now, obviously, there's people watching who don't have blindfolds on. And if there's something that looks like it's going to be catastrophic, like you're going to run into something or whatever, there'll be people with pillows to kind of guide you back. You know, I've had people like they touch the pillow and then they start like rubbing their head on the pillow and like, oh, the pillow. And I want to go into the pillow. And it's like, no, that's just a barrier. Stop trying to kiss the pillow. But that happens. I've done this many times. And I've had people kind of like jump around like a bunny rabbit, and they're thinking like this is sort of like a static dance. I'm like, no. This is moving as slowly as possible and really feeling the intuition of your body and allowing the music to move you in that moment.
Yes. Yeah. I
And
love
it's
that.
oh, it's so powerful. And when you come out, you really trust you like you've gone to the gym for your intuition. Like you've really have increased your capacity to have intuition come in and be like, yeah, I trust that. And I want to bring more of that into my body.
Yeah. I love that so much because I have hundreds of people who come to me to develop their intuition, right? Like that is what I'm sought out for. And it's like if they had this type of practice of like you have a choice, you can lean in and notice what you notice and notice, is this pleasurable? Is this not? Is this weird? Like just noticing how you feel in that moment. And then you have a choice. And that it's almost like a very respectful scenario of like, if you reject their hand, it's not a rejection of them. And this is totally known amongst everyone.
And you're blindfolded, so you can't take it personally.
Yeah.
And when you start touching them, you don't know if they're a man or a woman or
All of those things.
all of the genders, whatever the gender you call yourself. It doesn't matter because that hand is just a hand to you, and it's just a sensation. So, and you have a choice to like, oh, I want to go into that sensation, or I want to be with myself and not have any sensation at all. And you have that choice moment to moment.
Oh, I
And
love
I
it.
feel like it's such a great opportunity to strengthen that skill.
Yeah. Well, you sold me.
It's a great practice. I should definitely do it. That's one of my favorite moving meditations aside from Qigong. I'll be doing Qigong and dance as well. I do a dance of the 5 elements where it starts out in earth, it's very slow and grounded, moves into water and flowy, get hot and chaotic and fire, go into air, which is light and lyrical, and then ether, which is like a shavasana, stillness. And it's just, I do that after I do Qigong, because Qigong gets you out of your head.
Yes.
And then you really don't care who's watching you when you move.
Mm-hmm.
You're so in your body. You're so relaxed. You're so open. When I play music that really excites you to move your body, you don't give a crap if who's watching or what's going on. You just start moving because you love movement. That's it.
And I think there's so much that's key right there. If like you're so in your body, you don't care about what others are doing, watching. It's not your responsibility to take care of them. You're in it for yourself. And when you have that much, I love the way my body feels, breathes, moves in this moment. You're not only embodied, but you're so fully present in where you're at.
Exactly. And you have enough wherewithal to not be like a Tasmanian devil where you're just knocking stuff over or you're creating havoc and chaos. You're actually so in control of your body that you realize that you want to have your experience and that you don't need to bother somebody else's experience. Now, when I tell people like, hey, raise your hand if you'd like to join another hand to have a coupled experience for an exercise that I'm going to do, but I tell people like, hey, you meet the person in the eyes, you touch with the hand. This means I'm a yes to this experience. If they're not a yes, you go into namaste. This means, hey, I'm in my own experience. So you have choice on the dance floor to say yes or no to another person's experience. But when you get this open and relaxed, you can feel into the moment. It's like, oh yeah, this song and this exercise feels good. I'm gonna partner, and then I may do another exercise. Like, you know what, I'm actually okay. I'm gonna sit this one out and do my own dance. And I see it happen all the time, and it's a wonderful way to learn how to move through the world, because you're accessing your yes and no. That feels natural. It's not coming from here. It's coming from here. The yes and no is now coming from here and not from here.
Right. So from the heart space, not the mind space.
Correct. But you use the mind space to help you navigate and be like, oh, like, I'm not going to just wave my hand and slap someone in the face while I'm dancing. Like, I'm going to be aware of my awareness so that I'm not wreaking havoc, but I'm having the awareness that I can be in my own space or connect with someone in the framework that feels safe and conducive for everybody.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Anything else you want to share about the Embodiment Festival coming up in September in Austin?
Just come. I just say, great. I mean, if you're okay, so let me pre-qualify you. Do you love music? Like different kinds of music, like the whole spectrum of music, like jazz, country, rock and roll, electric, blues, funk, like it's going to all be there. It's like all of it's going to be there. So if you like music, you're a yes. Do you like to move your body? You're a yes. Do you like, relatively smaller crowd? It's not, this isn't going to be like, oh, like it's going to be crazy, but there'll probably be like about 100-ish people there. And so if you feel comfortable in that setting, then I would say you're a yes. Like, especially if it's easy, if you're in the Austin area or it's easy for you to get to, why not? It's very reasonably priced, and it's on a weekend that I feel like it's not, it's not during Burning Man. It's not during Halloween. Like it's kind of in this in between place where it's easy to get to.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so excited. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
What else?
I know you have something coming up in California as well. Is that right?
Oh, the California Tantra Festival, the Awaken as Love California Tantra Festival. Awaken as Love is a mystery school I'm a part of that is really all about helping people get into their own evolutionary state to create the life that they want. And we use shamanism, we use Tantra, we use embodiment practices, and we use integral theory, which is created by Ken Wilber. And we kind of synergize those four different pillars to create an experience that illuminates what's been underneath the surface of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And we do shadow work. We do like a practice where you go be by yourself for a while. Like what I love about this mystery school, it's not just about, a couple people up in front of the room just kind of lecturing the whole time. Like it's really about giving some context and then having a real life experience of how to evolve your life.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's an amazing process. And we're doing a Tantra festival in Dunlap, California, September 25 to 29. So basically the next weekend.
Whoa. What are you thinking, Peter?
I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? But, it just so happened these are the 2 weekends. It worked out great.
Yeah.
And this festival has been going on for 10 years now. And every year it's about 130 to 150 people. So it's another one of these things that's not super crazy, but it's enough people who are like, hey, I'm passionate about learning about Tantra and embodiment and how to really be aware of my awareness and how to be aware of my passion for awareness. And so I feel like Tantra is a way to find liberation for your own body.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's really about being in the 3D. Shamanism is about connecting with the divine and going into the spirit world, and it's very metaphysical. It does synergize with being in the here and now, but Tantra is really about 3D.
Yes.
It's about like really being in the body. And so I'm really excited to be there and to showcase my love for Tantra as well.
Yeah. And I love that there's a bit of like, you get a little bit of both. Like as a shamanic practitioner for many years, I'm very well aware of like traveling into the different spiritual realms. And I have just fallen in love with Tantra the last couple of years because of the nature of embodiment, because of the nature of, I get to fully feel alive and have permission to feel all of my feelings and feel all of my emotions. And there's nothing wrong with that emotional expression. And so I love that there's, I feel like what Reiki was 10, 15 years ago is where Tantra is today. And Tantra is going to be this next wave of how do we connect? Like, I think there's this piece of lack of connection because of social media, because of technology, and people are so desperate to come back into real, authentic connection again. And I feel like this is the next wave of spiritual work. Is how can I be a full yes to myself and know who I am and my own energy and what my yeses and nos are and feel in my body, and how do I relate to others? And there's so much more to that, but like, I just see it. I see it unfolding.
It's happening. And it's too bad Tantra has been kind of shaded in this weird light of like, oh, it's all about sexual practices and sexual this and that. And it's like, no, it's really about becoming more aware of your awareness.
Yes.
And you see that piece is what makes sex so amazing. Yes. Because your body's so turned on and alive. That's the secret sauce. It's not like, oh, I just do this like this technique or this thing. No. It's really what's in the way of you being really right here.
Yes.
That's what my Tantra teachers told me. It's like, it's not a how-to, it's what's in the way of me being the most alive, vivacious person on the planet. And that's what creates amazing sexual encounters. That's what creates amazing friendships. That's what creates, amazing camaraderie and everything that you can think of where you're connecting with other people. It's like, how alive can I be? Mm-hmm. And those practices help you become more alive. Yeah. So why not explore them?
Yes. Right. Well, it's so funny that you bring that up, that real presence with yourself, because next Monday, in 1 week from when this is being broadcasted, my partner and I are going to be doing a webinar called Creating a Sacred Sex Life Connection Through Presence. It's exactly that. It's like, how can we come into our full awareness so that we can better connect with ourselves, with our partner, with the divine, right? It's like, I love it.
Finding out what turns this guy off right here.
Mm-hmm.
What is your easiest, most joyful, passionate pathway to just turn this off and just turn on the whole body and just be right here? And then that, to me, that's your navigation pathway to connecting with other people deeply. So yeah, you're on
start. Yeah, we can definitely start with Embodiment Festival, September 18th through the 20th. I will be there. I would love for the listeners out there to come join me, dance with me, move with me, all of the things. And know that all of the things that we have spoken about, all the different festivals, opportunities, they're going to be in the show notes. So definitely check out the show notes for those links. And Peter, it's just been such a amazing conversation. I just want to say thank you so much for
coming. I can't believe an hour's rolled, but like, this has been so miraculous. Like, oh, wow, this was an amazing conversation. We call this Tantra time, when you get into like this vortex of like where something, and what's the word? Where it's like you have an experience with someone where it feels like 15, 20 minutes has rolled by, but it's like, wow, a whole hour is just, and it's like you're in the now. That's what it is.
It's it. Absolutely. And it's been so fun to have the conversation, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm the ideal person to come to the festival. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are in the same position that I am, where it's like, come dance, come move, come breathe, come meditate, come really feel yourself and know that you're okay. You're fully accepted in who you are. And it kind of reminds me of going to like summer camp as a kid, when you get, your own special name and you're kind of out, like it's a camp for adults.
but I absolutely agree with you. It is. It's like summer adult camp. And the hidden treasure at these festivals are the little interactions in between the classes.
Yes.
Like an impromptu conversation you have at the snack bar or outside or waiting in line. Like you just spontaneously start meeting people and you have a little conversation. Like, wow, that conversation was really amazing. And then you realize like, oh, this is my tribe. Like,
yes.
These are my
people.
peeps. Right.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited, because of the limited population of being all interested in the same thing. I feel like this is going to be opening up doors of connection and community beyond my own, what's happening in Bozeman. And I feel like so funny, because I have a lot of connections down in Houston. I have a lot of students down in Houston, and all of a sudden it's like, Austin. I'm like, okay, apparently I'm going to Austin.
It's kind of the capital of the Tantra world right now for the United States. Basically, it's really popular there. And tell those Houston people to make the drive up. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because if you're into music and movement and dance, then you're going to find you're going to find your people, and you're going to have a hell of a good time. So thank you for talking to them. And you know what? I'd love to come to Bozeman and do like a weekend class or something around movement and meditation and all that.
Sounds good. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Peter. And to all of our listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. And we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Be well.